With just a couple of months to the 2023 general elections, the race to the presidential villa Abuja is heading for the home straight. The political horses with the much vaunted pedigrees are holding their own on the race course, while some dark horses are equally late for another 4 years, with opinion leaders charging the electorate to vote as if their lives literally depends on it. Tantalized in the marketplace of campaign jousting, frenetic arm twisting, and ideological relations, which have served to obfuscate rather than illuminate. Today, Political Update will track the activities of the candidates at the national and state levels to get to the meat of the matter. Election management and security will also be on the table. I'm Fisayo Ogunfi. Welcome. Let's start with security during the election of the first to deal decisively with perpetrators of political violence. He gave the order at the end of the meeting with strategic police units in Abuja.
This is the last conference of strategic police officers for year 2022.
I welcome you all to this conference.
The meeting is convened by the IGP to evaluate performance in the outgoing year, dissect operational challenges in relation to placing mandates and elections, and to collectively set targets for 2023.
I trust that you shall continue in our onslaught against criminal elements that are bent of negatively altering our national values.
While admitting that the outgoing year presented security challenges, the IGP notes that the force has successfully confronted the threats promptly and gallantly, took the battle to the doorsteps of the criminal elements.
This is evidenced by the fact that between January and November 2022, we have successfully rescued 865 and 23 armed robbery suspects, 335 murder suspects, and 473 suspected cultists were
strategic police officers to adopt all-inclusive approach
with a view to democratic elements to justice and keep the internal security order stabilized ahead of the election.
Meanwhile, the Defense Headquarters has reassured Nigerians that soldiers and officers of the Nigerian Armed Forces will be apolitical and act professionally during the forthcoming elections. Chief of Defense Staff General Lucky Rabo gave the assurance while receiving the President of the Nigerian Bar Association.
To ensure that should we have any reason to assist the police during the 2023 election to be professional, they will be apolitical, they will be professional in disposition.
Complaint about the fact that the delay in the trial of cases hampers the effort of the military in the fight against terrorism. We are concerned. And when I see that the Chief of Defense Staff's leadership focus for the armed forces is to foster a professional armed forces and armed forces that is going to conduct its responsibility with respect for the rule of law. And that is why we will not shy away to
A summit organized by the Center for Northern Awareness and Development in Abuja has posited that it is possible to do what is right and have truly
Participants gathered at this summit are striving towards a common goal. The dire need for the North to put their acts together ahead of the 2023 general elections. And the message is loud and clear.
Order as people from different places. You saw somebody first as a northerner before you think of order consideration. Either it's a Muslim or a Christian, under Sadara, that never mattered to him. And that is
the mission said dwelt on striving towards the restoration of a monolithic North for regional economic prosperity and meaningful growth.
so that we can think together, work together, act together.
They advocated for a unified and peaceful northern region, like in the days of the late Sir Ahmadu Bello and Abubakar Tafawa Balewa.
As the campaigns for different elective positions intensify at the national level, it is equally gathering momentum at the state level. Wilfred Osang Bonse is the governorship candidate of the new Nigeria People's Party NNPP in Cross River State. He joins us now. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Are you looking at it with hope, expectation and excitement, or with trepidation?
Beavers and all the other paraphernalia of the elections that are different from the previous ones.
All right, what will be, for instance, your ideal scenario in Cross River? So of course, you have hopes for your own election, but in terms of election management, on the day of the election, what would you be expecting as a candidate on the ballot?
Well, first, kudos to INEC. The sensitization probably has to be upped, but back to what I will be expecting. And so I expect that on that day, the people will cast their vote for or against, and I hope at the end of the day, we will come out on top.
All right, you know, a momentum behind it in just some months, less than a year, that it has really come out there. But how solid is that party in your state, Cross River State?
Like you said, just a few months we have moved from which party, when nobody knew about the new Nigerian People's Party, to one of the major contenders, the first 11. And I think before the end of January, it will be clear that we are the party to beat.
All right, let's talk to you as, Professor Osang Bonse, PhD. What are you bringing that is new to the table for the people in your state?
Yeah, first, Cross River is the first capital of Nigeria. We are unfortunately too poor for the status that we should actually enjoy. I have the NUNDP research results for 2010 updated, and Cross River, unfortunately, or fortunately for us, has just about everything every other state in Nigeria has. Unfortunately, those things have not been latent and dormant. They have not been harnessed for whatever reason, and the people are languishing in poverty. The state itself is retrogressing, and it's never been as bad as it is. It is, in any case, the people's paradise. But what we see now is anything but.
So you've talked about the concept. You talk about some of the research you have seen. But in concrete terms, which sectors would you look at as the low-hanging fruits, and how would you want to impact on those sectors to perhaps alleviate the poverty that you have mentioned?
We will industrialize the state, pure and simple. Let's even start from, like you said, low-hanging fruits. Let's even start from the tourism sector that was gladly upscaled by the previous administrations, 2 or 3 previous administrations, Donald Duke. We have the Calabar Carnival, which has become the doyen of the nation, as it were, but it is essentially a winter carnival. You and I know that the greatest amount of monies are spent tourism-wise in the summer. We need to, scale that up, create a summer carnival and probably even the autumn and spring carnival, so that those who really want, we have everything, we really want to escape, have the best that Africa can offer in terms of tourism leisure, will make Cross River the destination of choice.
All right, and in terms of, we understand that, it's almost green all year round in your state. Do you have special policies for agric as well?
Oh, of course. Agriculture. Cross River, for instance, I come from the Boki speaking area of Cross River State. Yams, not exaggerating, could be as big as a human being. So the cassava and everything else, and that without even agricultural inputs like fertilizer and all. It's across board. So we intend to, and of course we have a very large land space area. So we intend to really feed Nigeria and possibly some parts of Africa from Cross River within the first 4 years of my administration.
Luckily or unluckily, I'm not from Cross River State. So have you been able to preach this gospel to people in your state, and what is the buy-in like since you started your career?
Yes, we have, and the buy-in is quite huge. Recently, I took a tour of the state with my principal, engineer Dr. Rabi Musa Kwankwaso, and the optics are just great, but far above the optics. Most of the kingmakers have been reaching out to us since that time, as they see us as a viable alternative to governance in the state, which has been anything but what expectations of the people is.
All right, we'll come back to the closing lines. Let's quickly look at some of the presidential campaigns that we've seen in the past week. The presidential candidate of the new Nigeria People's Party, Rabi Musa Kwankwaso, has pledged to replicate his achievements when he was governor of Kano State if elected president come February 2023. He gave the promise during his visit to Ekiti State as part of his campaign tour of the Southwest geopolitical zone.
The first assignment of Rabi Kwankwaso in Ado-Ekiti was the commissioning of the newly renovated State Secretariat of the new Nigeria People's Party on Ajilosun Road, where he addressed his supporters and party faithful. He said if elected president, his administration would prioritize security, health, fighting corruption, as well as road construction. He said he would build 500 schools to improve standard of education in Nigeria.
We have decided in our blueprint, which is available online, that we thought it was necessary to form what we call community participation and orientation committees. In all the exciting, of course, is there. It involves the traditional ruler.
The former Minister of Defense and one-time Governor of Kano State was at the Palace of the Ewi of Ado-Ekiti, Oba Rufus Adejugbe.
The campaign train of the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, got to Niger State this week, where he was accorded a warm reception by the party supporters. The candidate also inaugurated campaign offices and vehicles donated by the party stalwarts to energize APC's campaigns in the state.
All Progressives Congress presidential candidate Ahmed Bola Tinubu, who was seemingly overjoyed with the rousing reception accorded him by the large turnout of party faithfuls and supporters at the official flag-off of the campaign ahead of the 2023 general elections, showed his appreciation this way. The APC presidential candidate also commended the people of the state for their support and expressed commitment to evolving strategies to fast-track the development of all spheres of the country's economy if given the mandate. Other party faithfuls also took turns to pledge continuity in infrastructural development, power, and agriculture, as well as tackling security challenges head-on. Key stakeholders of the party also made personal donations of vehicles and office accommodation to fast-track Tinubu Shatima campaign across Niger State.
All the candidates here are united. The consideration is a few of all our ingredients, environment of the living movement. All the are in place collectively. Of us as candidates for they decided to put this together. And we are going to achieve a common cause, and we are going to market for everyone here, including you and your vice presidential candidates.
The APC presidential candidate Ahmed Bola Tinubu and his entourage met the Emir of Mina, Alhaji Umar Faruk Bahagu, at his palace behind closed doors.
And the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, says if given the mandate, his administration will initiate strategies to rapidly develop the Southeast for economic growth. The former vice president was speaking to supporters at the Southeast flag-off of his campaign in Awka, Anambra State.
PDP members mobilized in their numbers in Anambra State to support the party's presidential candidate. When the campaign train touched ground at the Alex Ekweme Square, Awka, national chairman of the party, Senator Yocha Ayu, alongside many party leaders, told supporters from the different spheres of influence who attended the party's rally at the park to support PDP's rescue and recovery mission to actualize the dreams and aspirations of great icons from the zone for national growth and economic stability.
We need every part of this country, and I'd like the indomitable spirit of the people, particularly Anambra people. Feel the people come out and march February 2023 to vote for Atiku Okowa.
We are expecting inclusiveness in government. Inclusiveness. Where there's no discrimination, every person is brought on board to contribute. Too bad the mass to show that the people of power ticket represent a greater Nigeria. It is a ticket to recover us from where we are. It's a ticket to bring back the job. It's a ticket to bring back the post-South unity.
Former Vice President and presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, in appreciation of the support, told the people that his administration, if elected, will construct federal link roads to further open up Anambra for economic prosperity and as well address gully erosion challenges in the state.
This time around, we are going to break Niger and make sure Onitsha port is functional. We are also going to make sure that we support Anambra State to industrialize the state, so that the state can create as many jobs for our young men and women.
And Labour Party's presidential candidate Peter Obi has promised to bring smiles back to the faces of Nigerian workers by increasing the national minimum wage if elected as president in 2023. This was during his presidential campaign rally in Lokoja, Kogi State.
His entrance to the Confluence Stadium sparked a buzz of excitement among supporters who thronged the venue of the rally, creating an atmosphere of fanfare. The promise of a new Nigeria resonated from the stage as Mr. Peter Obi reeled out his plans to turn the country to a major industrial hub if elected president come 2023.
We will start with production, and as soon as we start the production, we will start thinking how to continue to do what? Increase that minimum wage. Because that minimum wage today can no longer sustain anybody. Keep in mind what we are saying and hold us responsible for what we are saying, because there will be no excuses.
Party stalwarts encouraged the electorate to make the right choice in the next election by voting Peter Obi.
They have capacity, they have empathy, there is gender inclusion, the transformative leader is the government leader.
PVC's collection is on now. Mobilize your brothers, mobilize your sisters, go and collect your PVCs.
It is less than 3 months to the election, and the Labour Party campaign team says they are determined to finish stops and salvage the situation in the country.
You agree with me that the presidential candidates and candidates across the country are already creating jobs because tailors are smiling to the bank. Let me come back to Wilfred Osangbose, governorship candidate of New Nigeria People's Party, our guest today, NMPP Cross River State. Before we go, last line on the program, talk to Cross Riverians at this time. For some of us who don't know you, and also because, of course, your party is quite new. Talk to Cross Riverians, Nigerians, before we let you go.
Yeah, we bring something to the table that hasn't been on the table for quite a while. The NMPP, as the name stands for, is the New Nigerian People's Party. It is the party that brings the fresh breath, the fresh air angle. Every other candidate has been on the scene for quite a while, and we can check their pedigree doesn't really say much, apart from which fact the things that they are promising are things they had promised before and failed on. So give us a chance to serve the people and make the state great again.
In your state, before I let you go, there's been a lot of cross-carpeting from one party to the other. Former party member, now member of a new party. What is the place of ideology, quickly, before you go?
There is obviously no ideology as we speak. It's actually a matter of interest, but basically what we should question is what interest the people are fighting. Is it the interest of the people or their own self and personal interests?
Wilson Osang Bonse, PhD, governorship candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
All right, you have come from Cross River. We hope you cross the river.
Yes, I hope so.
River of endorsement out there in your state.
Thank you very much.
Political update today. I want to thank you for being a part of it. It's the political season. The horses are in the race, are already going to the home straight. Put your fingers where your mouth is in February and play your politics for the greater good. And don't forget to continue to vote for the Nigerian Television Authority as your one-stop shop for news, reviews, previews, and interviews. Bye-bye now.